Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Edmonton Moreno versus Albazi. We back with another breakdown of a card that is not great. If you know Canada cards, I know, then you know, if you know Canada cards, then you know it's not a good sign, because if they go to Canada, the card's gonna usually suck. At least this is a fight night, which makes it a little more bearable, and they at least try to book decent fights. But yeah, it's not a strong card. It's probably the best card I've seen them put in Canada in a while. But that's not a high bar when you had fucking Malott and Marc-André bury you on a pay-per-view to begin the year. So to put them on a fight night is a little more reasonable. And then the prelims are okay. So it's really carried by the main event and this guy. So take that for what you will. Still we have 14 fights. Some are good, more are bad. It's a card it doesn't look great. I'm not super excited for this. Like, of course I'm excited to see Moreno Albazi. Of course I'm excited to see Derrick, Jasmine, Jasudavicius, and a couple other fights. But overall, there's not much I'm looking at this card and like, there's not much I'm looking at on this card. Like, oh, I can't wait. I'm so pumped for that. So it should be an okay card at worst. I don't think it's gonna be dreadful, but I say that and I'm usually wrong, so I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's first breaking it down and then watching it on Saturday. So we can only do one of those right now, so let's do the first one by breaking it down. Not very much more I can say about the card. Big card, like I said, 14 fights. Always love to see that. So let's see how many good ones we get. We got a lot of chances at good fights. Let's see if we get them. Outside of that, not very much more I can say. I'm recording this on Halloween night. It's actually November at this point, so that's why I started the video with a boo. I hope you had a great Halloween, and now let's start November right, okay? Let's do it. Not very much more I can say. Before I get into the video, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year. Thank you for getting me I think you got me to 71 for a couple seconds, but then 2 people unsubscribed. Cunts. So yeah, we're back down to 69. Nice. But yeah, I'm happy no matter what. We got 2 more months to hit 100. Can we? I doubt it, but it'd be cool. If not, I'll be happy nonetheless. I do this for fun, and I hope you all enjoy it. So enough of me rambling. We're already 3 minutes in. Let's break down some fights, since we got 14 to break down. If you know me, this is gonna be a long video. Let's get into it. UFC Edmonton, let's go. I'm not going to start with Youssef, Zalal, and Jack Shore, since that's not the first 5 tonight. For some reason, Tapology has got this a little, not backwards, but out of order. So this is from Big Marcel on Twitter, who, if you don't follow, why are you not following him? On Instagram as well. I'm not told to say this, I'm just saying it out of what I think. So this is the card order. So I'm going to do what's the actual card order instead of what it is not, because why the fuck would I do it out of order? Even it's not a big order, this is just meant to be here, but nonetheless, actually no, this is meant to be, no, yeah, there, above this. So if you know me, I want to do shit in order and get it right. So unless the UFC changes it to this in the next 48 hours, I'm going to go with this order. So we're actually beginning tonight in the straw and flyweight. Is it flyweight or strawweight? In the flyweight division, with our first 5 of the night actually being Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Ivana Petrović. Not an instant classic to begin the night, but it's first 5 of the night. I don't expect much, and I've seen much worse this year alone, so not a fight, not a great fight to begin the night, but could be worse. We got 2 fighters with only 1 L on the record, 2 prospects, quotation marks. Could be worse. So enough rambling, let's talk about some fighters, and we'll begin with the first Canadian of the night, Jamey-Lyn Horth. Jamey in the UFC is 1-1, just like Ivana, funny enough. Her one win was against Hailey Cowan, and her one loss was against Veronica Hardy. I swear that happened this year, but can't believe it's already almost been a year since that fight. In her first fight, it was up at bantamweight, and she easily beat a shitty fighter like Hailey Cowan. And then she moved down to fight Veronica Hardy, and yeah, that didn't go too well. She looked okay in that fight. It wasn't a complete beating. It shouldn't have been a split decision. I mean, was it close? Kind of. I don't remember it completely, but I feel like it was kind of close but clear for Veronica. And Horth was actually the favorite in that fight by a big margin. So, but I think Veronica is not a bad L at all. I think that's actually a really good person to lose to, especially right now since she's on a nice streak. She's gonna be ranked probably sooner than later. She's gonna win in 2 weeks. So, yeah. But yeah, like that's a tough fight to have in your fucking debut in a weight class. So, the 2 fights we've seen of Horth, I've not been overly impressed. Her striking is okay. Her kicks are decent. Her clinch strikes are decent. Her ground game, I don't really remember seeing. She's not shown anything crazy, but she's not shown anything bad. She's just been a fighter, pretty much. Again, she had the win over Can, and she lost to a really good fighter. So, I guess that puts her, if she can't beat a good fighter, but she can beat a Can, where does that put her? Mid? It's below average, so... She is also 34 years old, which I guess when you don't have a lot of fights, I guess that ain't a big deal because you haven't taken a lot of damage. But still, 34 years old, you don't got a lot of time on the clock. So let's get those fights going. Outside of that, I really don't know what to say. I've seen 2 fights of Horth, and I've not been overly impressed. But I've not been disappointed. She's fine. Like perfectly average rather right now. And will that change by the end of this fight? We'll see. But only one way to find out. To talk about her opponent, Ivana Petrović, who's also 1-1 in UFC. Her one win in her last fight was against Na Liang, and her one loss was to Luana Carolina. I can't say the same thing for Ivana that I said for Horth. She's fought 2 Cans and she's went 1-1, so take that for what you will. Yeah, she looked okay against Na. I don't think it was a dominant performance from what I remember. Like, yeah, she beat her and she finished her, but it took 3 rounds to beat a joke fighter, not like Na Liang. Not really impressed with that. And then you lost to Luana Carolina in your debut, who's ass. So I get she's not even young. I get she's young into her career, only going into her 9th fight, but like, you should not be losing to Luana Carolina and be taking Na Liang into the 3rd round. Someone who I believe has lost all of her UFC fights in like the first 2 rounds. Like, Aldridge beat her in 2nd. Yeah, so you're the only one who took her deep into a fucking fight, so take that for what you will again. I've not been impressed with Ivana. Like, I rate her lower than I rate Horth, because Horth at least has fought a decent fighter in Veronica. So, yeah. I don't really know what to say about Ivana. Her ground game's okay. Her cardio's not. Her striking's okay. She's fine. I guess. I don't know. Like, you're 1-1 against 2 tomato cans. So, I say she's, like, not even below average. She's a little worse than that. So, she's not a can, but she's close to it. So, maybe she shuts me up with a win here, but gotta do it first. And as of right now, I don't know if she can, because again, this is a giant step up. When Jamey-Lyn Horth is a giant step up in competition, there's a tiny problem. So I guess the only thing to say is let's see what happens in this pretty much a mid-off. So let's see. The betting on first fight, I have Jamey-Lyn Horth at -200 plus 165. I don't know if I would have her that big of a favorite. I think I would have Horth minus 160, 170. She should not be -200. Yeah, I think she'll win. My pick is going to be Jamey-Lyn Horth. But do I think she's a -200? No. I could see her choking this fight. I don't know how. Like, on the feet, I think she's probably better? Maybe? On the ground, Ivana is better, but cardio is Horth. Experience is Horth. She has the hometown advantage. Let's see what's the size. So inch short. Oh, so Ivana has a big reach advantage. That's interesting. It's a close fight ish because they're both not very good. But I think it's hard not to lean Horth here. Ivana has not shown anything to really say she should win this fight. Again, this is a ginormous step up from Na Liang and Luana Carolina. So if Jamey-Lyn Horth is a giant step up from those two, and you didn't even look that amazing against those two, if the math is math, then it's hard not to pick Jamey-Lyn Horth here. So give me the better, in my opinion, the more experienced and the hometown fighter to be in the night. Give me Jamey-Lyn Horth. I think she's better. What? Who's typology? Wow. I didn't even process that. I get it and I don't. So I get it and I don't. Give me Jamey-Lyn Horth, the fighter who, if we're just comparing their first 4 UFC fights, Veronica Hardy clears fucking both of Ivana's fights, and Horth didn't look. Horth, I swear I keep sounding like I'm saying horse. Jamey-Lyn Horth looked fine in that fight against Hardy. She didn't look amazing, but she looked decent. And if you're looking decent against Veronica Hardy, as Ivana's looking like ass against Na Liang and Luana Carolina, if the math is mathin', give me Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision. It's gonna be a close fight. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a one-sided beatdown. There's not gonna be a finish, but if there was a finish, it'd be a Ivana submission, which I just don't see happening. So, give me Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision. Is it my most confident pick? Fuck no. But I think she should win this fight. She's the better, more experienced fighter who's fought better competition. So, give me Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision to begin the night, and maybe Canada starts off a win for once. They really don't do that often. So, yeah. After that, we go to our second fight of the night. Make sure this is in order. As we go up 10 pounds and we change genders as we head to bantamweight for a fight that will be interesting. This could be a fun fight between two old dudes. As in the bantamweight division, our second fight of the night, we have Chad the Monster Anheliger versus Cody the Renegade Gibson. Yeah, this could be fun. Is it a high-level fight? No. Is it going to be a technical fight? No. Are these two good fighters? No. But should be a fun fight. And that's about all I can really ask for. I'm not going to complain about a fun fight. I'll take a fun fight over technical any day. So hopefully this lives up to the fun moniker. Outside of that, let's get into it. And we'll begin with the Canadian again, because most and mainly every fight they are the red corner with Chad and Anheliger. Chad in the UFC is 2-2, coming off Contender Series, beating Muam Gafurov, a UFC fighter, so that's not a terrible L. His 2 wins in UFC are Jesse Strader and Charlampus Grigori, and his 2 losses are Altung-Haley and Jose Johnson. First 2 wins, he beat 2 tomato cans who are not even in the UFC anymore, so take that for what you will. Cherlampus just got cut like 4 days ago or whatever. And then for his 2 losses, he lost to 2 decent fighters. Like, Anheliger's a very solid fighter who's always been in like the same position in the division. He's never going to be that good, but he's always, he's like the perfect mid-bantamweight. And then Jose Johnson's just really tall. Is he that good? Not really, but he's really tall and annoying to fight, so yeah. And then I didn't even know he had a win over Brady Easton before they both got into UFC, so that's a win that's aging like fucking wine. Anyone else interested? No, he's fought no one else anyone's ever heard of. So, but yeah, it's how the fuck are his 2 best wins happened? How the fuck are his 2 best wins before he even got into UFC? Easton and Mullen. 2 guys who I don't think he would beat in a rematch. I'm shocked he beat him to begin with, so yeah. Not very much to say about Chad. He's not that great. His striking's fine. His ground game's okay. His cardio's not amazing. He's pretty much just gonna try and have a firefight with you. Or if you're a guy with heavy hands like Cherlampus, he's gonna just take you down and wear you out. But in a fight with Cody Gibson, I doubt he's gonna really rely on that because he's gonna want to have a firefight. So yeah, he is 37 years old. So take that. So he's not a spring chicken by any means. But yeah, I think this is the first time he's fought in Canada in the UFC because I feel like he's only been to Apex. Unless, is it? Yeah, this is his first fight back in Canada since the Brady Easton fight. Interesting. Yeah, he's not great. I've never really been impressed with him. He looked good in his last fight against Grigori, but that's because Grigori is ass. And outside of that, I don't really got much else to say about him, so he's fine. Again, his striking is fine. Outside of that, not really much else to say. Cardio and ground game are not stellar. Yeah. To talk about his opponent, Cody Gibson, another old man in the bantamweight division. He's a weird case. He is 2-5 in the UFC. In his first UFC run, he went 1-3. No need to talk about that. And then since coming back to the UFC off of, was it 1-2? Cause yeah, the math ain't. I know it was 1-3. Cause then, oh yeah, he lost 2 more. I thought he lost 3. Since coming back to the UFC off of TUF, he went to the TUF finale, lost to Brad Katona and won the best fights of the year. And then after that, he lost to Miles Johns, where he looked like shit. And then he finally got a win after beating Brian Kelleher. So, yeah. Yeah, remember what I said about Chad, how he just wants to brawl? Think about, like, put that into perspective and then times it by, like, 20, because the only thing Cody Gibson knows how to do is brawl. He does not know what a fucking technique is, or a game plan, or a jab. He's just going in there to fight. And that's why he's not very good. Because if your technique at bantamweight is just swing punches, it's not going to go very well. And for him, it hasn't went very well. Like, he looked good in his last fight, but because Brian Kelleher is so fucking old. Before then, when he was fighting good fighters, he lost badly. Well, this was close, but this was just not even slightly close. So, like, he's a fun fighter, but he's not good. He's hard to trust, because, again, he's so not good. Like, he doesn't even have a lot of power in his hands. Like, he swings a lot, but he doesn't have a lot of power. His ground game is okay, but, like, he just does not have a lot of power in his hands. Like, he hit Katona 100 times, and he just shrugged it off. Like, he couldn't touch Miles Johns. He hurt Kelleher, but again, Kelleher is old. So, like, I don't know. Like, it's cool Cody's getting a second chance, because I don't think he's a terrible fighter, but he's just not very good. And, yeah, he's really fun. He's a really fun fighter. But outside of that, like, what else is there really to say about him? Like, does he have any technique? No. Does he use a game plan? I doubt it. Does he really use his ground game? No. Like, he's just a brawler. So, like, those are fun. Like, it's always cool to see a brawler, and I'm not gonna complain, but if we're just gonna spit the facts here, he's a brawler. So, yeah, not really much else I can say. Yeah, not really much more to add. The betting odds for his fight of Cody Gibson -175 to +145. Yeah, I think those are pretty accurate. You could even have Gibson up around -185. Maybe 190, but I think that might be pushing it. He should win. He's the better fighter. I think he's way bigger. He's 4 inches taller and 7 inches lengthier. So he should win. He's better. Like, if we're just going in a brawl, I trust Cody Gibson more. If we go to the ground, I trust Cody Gibson more. Cardio-wise, I trust Cody Gibson more. Like, Chad's just not that good. He's kind of just a shittier version of Gibson. Like, where is Chad really better? Striking is close, but again, Cody. Ground game, Cody. Cardio, Cody. So, it's just, like, durability, maybe? I'll give Chad the advantage there, but outside of that, like, I just don't really think he's that good. So, I'm gonna go Cody Gibson here. I think he should get the win. Do I trust him? Not really. Especially in Canada. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna go Cody Gibson. He should win. I think he's just a better version of Chad. I guess we'll find that out. So, logic says he is. Let's see if he can prove that he is. My pick here is going to be Cody Gibson by decision. I doubt we get a finish on either side. Fun fight. Could be fight of the night. Give me Cody Gibson by decision. After that, we head to our third fight of the night. Yes, sir. And staying in the bantamweight division, we have a fight that's a little more high level. Not by much, but a little higher level. And it could be an interesting fight. And then our third fight of the night, we stay at bantamweight for a fight between Serhiy, Sidey versus Garrett, Armfield. Not a terrible fight. It's a very interesting fight. I think this fight's going to be intriguing and could be a fun fight. Again, both these guys are coming off really fun fights, even if they lost. So let's see if they can have another banger. I'm excited. I'm excited ain't the right word. I'm intrigued in this fight, so let's see how good it really is. We'll begin with Serhiy Sidey. Sidey in the UFC's 0-1 coming out of Contender Series, where he got a contract for really no reason. He got a really early stoppage win against Roman Tavares. You shouldn't get a contract for that. And then he rematched Roman in both their debuts in the last Canada card, and he lost. A lot of people will cry robbery, blah blah blah. I think it was really close, and I really could care less which way it went. So, yeah. I've not been impressed with Serhiy, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I've not, in his 2 fights I've seen, both against Roman Tavares, who I don't think that's good who I don't think he's that good of a fighter anyway. I've just not really seen anything from Serhiy to be impressed by. Like, yeah, you can have a really fun fight. Outside of that, what am I meant to be impressed by with this dude? His striking's okay. Does he have a ground game? No. Like, yeah, like, he's young, I get that. I get Canada needs fighters. But outside of that, he's fought nobody. He's not looked that interesting. Like, I've just not been impressed with him. So, I'm not really sure what else to say. The 2 fights I've seen of his against the same person, I've not seen anything that intriguing or impressive. Like, he's not really perked my interest of, like, a good prospect. I don't even think he should be in the UFC. Again, I think that contract he got was bullshit. So, I don't really know what else to add. It's not really an in-depth breakdown of this dude, but there's not much to say about a dude I've seen fight twice and not look impressive in either fight. I've not really taken anything interesting away from his fights either. He can have a fun fight. That's about all I know. Outside of that, show something in this fight. To talk about his opponent, Garrett Armfield. Garrett in the UFC is 2-2. His 2 wins are Kazama and Brad Katona. His 2 losses are David Onama and Brady Houston. No plan of talking about the Onama fight. That was short notice and up a weight class. Since moving back down to bantamweight, he went on a 2-fight winning streak, beating Kazama and Katona. Katona's a very questionable decision. I talked about that with Katona in his last fight a few weeks ago. And then Kazama's a fucking joke. Anyone could beat that dude outside of fucking... didn't someone just lose to him? I forget who. Fucking Gregory, of course, yeah. And then his last fight, he did lose to Brady Houston. That's a fine guy to lose to. Houston's very fucking good, so there's much worse fighters to lose to. Yeah, Armfield's a fine fighter. I say he's about average. His striking's decent. He has decent power in his hands. His ground game's decent. His cardio's okay. He goes to the Trey Ogden gym, which is just producing really good fighters like Miles Johns, Armfield, and Ogden. So yeah, yeah, Armfield's a decent fighter. Do I think he's gonna do anything in the UFC? Fuck no. I think his ceiling is about what we've seen from him. A few wins against lesser competition. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what to think of him. He's fine. He's average. Is he going to ever, like, impress you? Not really. He's just gonna win a few fights, lose a few fights, and that's Garrett Armfield for you. So I'm not really sure what to say. Maybe one day he'll, like, improve enough to prove that wrong, but until then, I just see a perfectly average fighter. So he's not bad by any means. Again, he took a really good fighter like Brady Houston to his limit, and Brad Katona's a pretty decent win. He made, like, fucking, we saw how much Gene Matsumoto struggled with that fight with Katona. So take that for what you will. Yeah, I think Armfield's perfectly average. That's really all I can say about him. The betting odds for his fight have City -165 +140. I don't get those odds, really. I've not seen anything from City to prove he should be a favorite in this fight. Do I think Armfield should be a favorite? I would say this should probably be a pick'em. Like, City is unproven and does not show anything impressive. Armfield is perfectly average. I've not seen anything from City from where he should be -165 against a dude who's fought way better competition. It's like, if we're going back to Jamey-Lyn Horth logic, Armfield fought way better competition than City. Dude, he fought a better Canadian than City. So there's not many of them, so that's impressive. I just think these betting odds are crazy. I really don't understand them. I would either have it a pick'em or Armfield as the favorite. Besides that, I think my pick's pretty obvious. I'm going Garrett Armfield. I've seen nothing from City to say he should win this fight. The only advantage he really has, and I can think of, is he's bigger. He's much bigger than fucking Armfield. Outside of that, striking, I think Armfield's better. Ground game, I think Armfield's better. Cardio, I think Armfield's better. Experience, I think Armfield's better. Fucking, the fucking competition level, I think we know, there's no thing here, Armfield has fought better fighters. So, a lot of things are pointing to Armfield. Maybe power goes to City. Outside of that, I'm gonna go Garrett Armfield. I think he's the better fighter. He's a more proven fighter, and I've seen more from him to say he should win this fight. I've just seen nothing from Series City. I've seen him get a bullshit contract in an early stoppage, and I've seen him lose to a guy who I don't think's that good. So I'm gonna go Garrett Armfield, the underdog. I think he's the better fighter that should win. So my pick, I'm going the underdog, to get a win in Canada and enemy territory. Again, not his first time. Give me Garrett Armfield. Let's see if these betting odds are wrong. I think they are. Let's see if Armfield proves me right. My pick, give me the underdog, Garrett Armfield. After that, we go to our last fight before we finally break down Shore and Zalal. Before we get back in order, as we head to heavyweight for the first time tonight, for the first of 2 times tonight, as we have a fight that's not very good. Not very good at all. As it's a... Oh, God, I just remembered how bad this fight was. As in our 4th fight of the night in the heavyweight division, we have a sloppy, pretty much can versus can fight between Alexandr King Kong Romanov versus Rodrigo Z Colmia Nascimento. Great. This is a top 15 fight. Nascimento's ranked 15th, Romanov's ranked like 13th. Let that sink in. These two are fucking garbage, and they're in the top 15 of heavyweight. And you see why heavyweight sucks? You see why Tom Aspinall had to carry that division on his fucking back every week? Like, god damn, man. Let's just get this fight out of the way. We'll begin with King Kong. Romanov in UFC is 6-3 somehow. His 6 wins are... Oh no, I remember how he only beat Keanu de Lima's a good win. Fuck. His wins are Rogue Martinez, Marcos Rogerio de Lima, Juan Espino, quotation marks, Jared Vandera, Chase Sherman, and Blagoy Ivanov. His losses are to Marcin Tybura, Alexander Volkov, and Jailton Almeida. Really, he should be 5-4. He did not beat Juan Espino, but, you know, judges. Yeah, Romanov's terrible. He is a fucking... I'm not gonna call him a one-round fighter. He's a 4-minute fighter at best. All he's gonna try and do is take you down and smash you. If that doesn't... He's Fat Hamzat. He's just gonna try and take you down and smash you. If it doesn't work, he's gonna be gassed. He's not good. He can't strike. He has no cardio. He's just trying to take you down and smash. If it doesn't work, you won. Look at his 3 losses. He couldn't get Tybura down. He couldn't get Volkov down. He couldn't get Almeida down. And if you look at the Espino fight, he couldn't get him down either. He's just gonna rely on takedowns. His striking sucks. His cardio sucks. He sucks. So I don't know what you want me to say. And it's funny. He lost his fucking fight to Tybura because he gassed out. What does he do in his next fight? He comes in fatter. You're a fucking idiot. Last weight 290. I wouldn't be fucking shocked. Yeah, he's terrible. It's that simple. Romanov's a joke. He's just a fat dude. And like you could say that for a lot of heavyweights, but at least they try. He's just a fucking fat dude. So he sucks. I don't know what else you want me to say. To talk about his opponent, Rogue Martinez, Rodrigo Nascimento. Nascimento in UFC is 4-2. His 4 wins are Dontel Mays, Tanner Bozer, Alil Latifi, and Dontel Mays. His 2 losses are Chris Dawkins and Derrick Lewis, and he had a no contest with Alan Badeau. Yeah, he sucks also. But compared to Romanov, he looks like goddamn John Jones. So yeah, Nascimento's not good, but yes, he's better than Romanov. Like, has he beat anyone good? No. Has he lost to anyone good? Derrick Lewis is okay. Chris Dawkins is a joke. Like, and he looked fine in that Derrick Lewis fight. I think it was like 1-1 going into the 3rd. So he put up a good fight against Derrick, who we'll talk about later. But yeah, he's not a good fighter. His striking's okay. His ground game's good enough. His cardio is a heavyweight. His durability ain't outstanding. So yeah, he's pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. I don't know what else you really want me to say. It's Rodrigo Nascimento. People literally know he exists because he somehow main evented a card against Derrick Lewis. How, I don't fucking know, but he did. So yeah, not really much else I can add. He sucks. The Banganters fight are not what they say in Typology. I looked earlier, they are a pick'em at this point, about -110. I agree. This should be a pick'em. I don't know how you can trust either guy here. Like, they both suck. But if I had to pick one, give me Nascimento. I trust him more. He's a bigger fighter. He's a better striker. He has better cardio, and he has a ground game. What has Romanov struggled with? Fighters who have a ground game. What does all of his wins have in common? They have no ground game. Give me Nascimento. Keep it on the stuff to takedowns and the stuff to early takedown or two, and beat him up. I would not be shocked if there's a finish here by Nascimento late. I could see Romanov just quitting at some point in the fight. But if not, I could totally just see a 29-28 or 30-27 Nascimento in a boring fight. So I don't expect much from this fight. All I really expect is Nascimento to stuff takedowns and piece him up on the feet, or like get me again a ground and pound TKO would not be shocking. So Nascimento has a ground game. He has like 6 or 7 submissions on his record. So Romanov has done awful against fighters who have a ground game, which Nascimento has a ground game. So again, he did pretty decently against Derrick Lewis, who Romanov was meant to fight on this card, funny enough. So yeah, not very much else to say. Terrible fight. How are these two ranked? And give me Rodrigo Nascimento by decision. I would not be shocked at a finish, but I don't see it. So give me Nascimento by decision. I agree for pick'em. And could Romanov win? Yes, he could definitely get the takedown and get the early smash. But if he doesn't do that, Nascimento is going to probably win a boring decision. So, yeah. Not very much else to say. Give me Rodrigo Nascimento by decision. After that, we can finally talk about the fight that they have at the first fight of the night, which is wrong. And I can finally close that tab. So I don't have to have that picture there for no reason anymore. And in our fifth fight of the night, we finally head to featherweight for not a great fight, but between Jack Tank Shore versus Youssef the Moroccan Devil Zalal. Yeah, not a great fight here in my opinion. A guy who's been fraud checked versus a guy who sucks. Can't wait. Let's get this out of the way. We'll begin with Jack Shore. Shore in the UFC is 6-2. His wins are whoever the fuck that is. Aaron Phillips, Hunter Azure, Ludovic Shalolian, Timur Valiev, and Makwan Americani. His 2 losses are Ricky Simone and Joe Anderson Brito. He's not very good. Like, if I have to be brutally honest with Tank, he's not very good. He's clearly not Gervonta Davis, however you say his name. He's a wrestler. That's the only thing he can't strike. He has no striking ability. Like, we saw in the Ricky Simone fight where he just kind of quit more than anything. Well, not quit, but his striking he had no striking. Like, his cardio ain't amazing, his defense ain't amazing. If he can't get you to the ground, it's over for him. It's that simple. He just does not have a good ground, anything outside of a good ground game. Like, if he could develop his striking a little bit, he could probably be pretty decent. But he's just never developed his striking. Like, it's really weak. It's almost non-existent. Like, his hands, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him throw a kick. So, like, he's just been one-dimensional his whole career, and that's why he is taking more L's lately. Like, yeah, you were able to be one-dimensional against Hunter Azure and Aaron Phillips, but the second you fight Ricky Simone and Jonathan Brito, you're not going to be able to be that one-dimensional. And by the way, can you have enough canceled fights, goddammit? Yeah, like, it's cool to see him staying active. First time he's fought twice in years since 2022. But outside of that, there's just not really many positives I can say for sure. Yeah, he's still young, 29 years old. Outside of that, unless he has gotten better, which I doubt it, if he's finally learned how to strike, which I doubt it, he is probably going to take another L here. So, I just don't really know what to say. He's never improved. He's another one of those guys who's just never improved. Like Renat. If I had to make a comparison to someone last week, Renat, a guy who's just never improved, and we saw what happened to him. He lost. So, what if you never improve as a fighter, you get beatable. And people finally start beating you because you never got better. So, it's pretty obvious how that works. And it's crazy these fighters have not figured that out yet. But, whatever. Not much more to say about it, sure. Zal's opponent, Youssef, is lost, and I don't really talk about him. He's 5-3-1 in the UFC. Since coming back, he beat Billy Q and Jourdain Aarons. Billy Q had an off night. Jourdain is shit. It's Youssef Zalal. I don't care. The betting odds for his fight have Zalal minus 230 to plus 190. I think he's a bigger favorite by now. I think he's like minus 130. I would have Zalal like minus 190. He should win this fight. He's better on the feet. He's okay on the ground. He should win this fight. Sure, it's just, like, beatable. So, I don't know what to really say. Give me Youssef Zalal by decision. I just don't know what you really want me to say. Like, it's a bad fighter versus a bad fighter. It's a guy who's never improved his game versus a guy who's just not good. I don't know what you want me to say. Give me Zalal by decision, mainly because Shore just can't strike. And his ground game, if he fights someone who can grapple, it usually doesn't go well for him. Ricky Simone, Joe Anderson Brito. Timur Valiev gave him a fight, so, yeah. Give me Zalal by decision. He's the better fighter, which says a lot. Tank, you just never got better, man. Never got better. Zalal by decision. I hate even saying that. After that, we head to our 6th fight of the night. Another fight in the bantamweight division. 3rd one of the prelims. And maybe our most interesting, as we have in our 6th fight of the night and our 3rd at bantamweight, Charles Jourdain versus Victor La Mangosta Henry. Yes, I said bantamweight and then Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is moving down to bantamweight in this fight. Very intriguing to see how that plays out. So, yeah, not sure how I like that idea, but let's see if it works. Not very much else to say. Let's talk about Jourdain. Jourdain in the UFC is 6-7-1, badly needing a win. His best wins at featherweight were Doo Ho Choi, Marcelo Rojo, Andre Ewell, Lando Venata, and Ricardo Ramos. No one remembers that Kron Gracie fight. His losses, Des Green, or the fuck that is, Andre Fili, Julian Rosa, Shane Burgos, Nathaniel Wood, Sean Woodson, Gene Silva, and he had a draw with Josh Kulibau. At featherweight, Jourdain has just shown glimpses. He's one of those fighters who have shown glimpses of talent. He'll look amazing against Ewell and Lando, and then he'll look like shit against Burgos and Wood. He'll look really good against Kron and Ramos, and then look terrible against Sean Woodson. Gene Silva's understandable. He'll somehow knock out Doo Ho Choi and then lose to Andre Fili. He's just been inconsistent. He's shown glimpses of a guy who, yeah, this guy could almost be top 15. But then he goes into a guy who just doesn't look like a good fighter. He just does not look like a good fighter half the time. And the last 2 times we've seen him fight, we've seen a guy who doesn't look too good. Sean Woodson beat him pretty easily, because he just didn't have a good game plan. Gene Silva knocked him out, which that's understandable. Gene Silva is scary. But we get, he can beat bad fighters. His best one is Doo Ho Choi, for fuck's sake. But we get it, he can beat bad fighters like Rojo, Ewell, etc. Every time he fights someone decent, he loses. And this move down to bantamweight just seems like desperate. He's desperate to do something. Because featherweight, he's on death's door. He's almost on a chopping block. If he loses this fight, he's probably getting cut. Like, it just kind of screams desperate. And, like, I hope it works for Jourdain. I like Jourdain. He's a good fighter. He's a cool dude. But he has to show up consistently. And him not being consistent is what got him into this position where he has to move down, where he has to fucking change weight classes. I swear this dude fought at lightweight at one point. Like, yeah, this dude fought 20 pounds up, and now he's 20 pounds lighter. Like, the pics I've seen of him during the week, he looks like he's making a cut just fine, but when he gets in there on fight day, when he's fucking 10 pounds lighter, his cardio's never been that good to begin with. That's another thing. So, cutting that much weight, cardio's not been that good. Durability is not the strongest. Let's see if this desperate move pays off. I hope it does. A bantamweight Jourdain, who's a real interesting fight, is a real interesting scenario. But he has to win this fight. Can he? We'll see. They gave him a decent test in Victor Henry. Victor in the UFC is 3-1-1. His 3 wins are Raoni Barcelos, Tony Gravely, and Rani Yahya. I completely forgot about the Rani Yahya fight. I saw his last fight with Javid Basharat. He lost to Rafael Sunsao, and he had a no contest with Javid Basharat. Victor Henry's a fine fighter. Like, he's had some nice wins. Raoni was a nice win. He looked really good against Rani Yahya, from what I remember. Like, yeah, he is 37 years old, but he's a decent fighter. Yeah, he should have beat a Sunsao. Why he lost that fight, I don't know. Yeah, he got kicked. He got his balls kicked in by Javid Basharat, which sucked, but he came back pretty quickly from that and looked good, so yeah. Henry's like kind of like what I said with Garrett Armfield. He's a perfectly mid fighter. He's nothing special. His striking's okay. His cardio's okay. His ground game's okay. He's nothing special. He's just a fighter. He's not a can, but he's mid. It's that simple. He's very mid. He's not a world beater, but he's not terrible. So, yeah. The only problem I can really find with him, he's 37 years old at bantamweight. Besides that, he's perfectly mid. He's decent at everything, but he's not a master at any of them. So, jack of all trades, but a master of none. So, he's fine. Perfectly fine. The Bangons vs. fight are pretty much a pick'em. I think Jourdain jumped out to a tiny favorite, but it's close. I don't know how to read this fight. Like, Henry has never been the most trustworthy, but he did come back and look decent against Rani Yahya, and I do think he has the skill set to beat Jourdain. But Jourdain, if he shows up like Jourdain that we know, like Wardain, he's a very good fighter. He should win this fight. The only reason this is a debate because Jourdain's inconsistent, because he's moving down. Jourdain's a way better fighter than Henry, I think, but he just hasn't shown that lately. Like, he just hasn't shown that he is fucking way better. He's just not been fighting at his best, and that's why he's making this desperate move now. So, it's a tough fight to call. It's a complete coin flip. I don't think you can really read this fight greatly because you don't know what Jourdain's gonna look like at bantamweight. Like, in the cage, physically, we know he's gonna be really skinny, and he is. But in that cage, we don't know. His cardio, again, has never been great. His durability ain't fantastic. So, it's a tough fight to call. Henry ain't great, though. Henry could choke a win like this. So, I don't know. Who am I leaning towards? Fuck. Give me Victor Henry. I trust him a smidge more than I trust Jourdain. And I think this is the first time I've picked against Jourdain ever. Or if not ever, it's been a long... Yeah, for the first time since his debut. or not debut, but since Andre Fili 4 years ago. It's hard for me to pick Jourdain here. I don't trust him. I think this move is desperate, and I don't know how he's gonna look in there. I hope he wins. I like Jourdain. I don't want to see him get cut. But if he looks like shit here and he loses, how do you not cut him? 3 in a row? Yes, to good fighters, but 3 in a row. And outside of that, man, I'm excited for this fight. I think it's very interesting. But at the same time, it's hard to pick Jourdain. So give me Victor Henry by decision. I doubt we get a finish. I think we get a really interesting fight, a weird fight. So give me Henry by decision. Not really sure what to expect here. Could go either way. Victor Henry by decision. After that, we go to our co-main event of the prelims. Not going to waste a lot of time here because you already know my pick. I'm very biased, and I think she'll actually win anyway. As in our co-main event of the prelims, we head to women's flyweight for a ranked fight between Ariane, the Queen of Violence, Da Silva, Lipski, whatever the fuck her name is this week, versus Jasmine, the Canadian badass, Jasudavicius. Fun fight. Probably gonna be a good fight. Let's see what happens. Not gonna waste a lot of time here because you know I'm biased. Not gonna talk on Ariane Lipski because she can go fuck herself. She already beat one of my favorite fighters. You're not gonna do it again, bitch. Fuck you. To talk about Jasmine Jasudavicius, the Canadian, somehow in the blue corner. She is 5-2 in UFC, coming off Contender Series. She is on a 2-fight winning streak, beating Priscilla Cachoeira and Fatima Keyline. She also has wins over Kay Hansen, Gabriela Fernandez, and Miranda Maverick. Her only 2 losses are to Natalia Silva and Tracy Cortez, and that Cortez fight was very close. So, Jasmine's a fine fighter. I think she's very good. Her ground game's good. Her striking is getting better. Like right now, her striking is good enough to just set up the takedowns, and that's all she really wants to do with it. So she just wants to set up the takedown of her striking, and she's good at that. Her cardio's good. Her durability is insane. She's a good fighter, and at 35 years old, I believe, she's making a good fucking run. This is definitely her last gasp at making a run at her age. So gotta throw everything you got at the fucking wall. And so far she's done a good job. 2 wins in a row in 2024, and again, she's looked good. Cachoeira was one of the most one-sided fights of the year, and then Klein was a good win. Klein, Fatima is very good, and that fight was close but clear. Now on a full camp, I worry for Jasmine, but that's a different story. I'm excited to see Fatima back on a full camp when she does finally fight again. So, yeah. But besides that, Jasmine of getting to a well-rounded, good fighter. So again, if her striking continues to improve, she'll be an interesting fighter. Outside of that, ground game's great, cardio's great. I think she's undefeated in Canada. 2 fights in Canada in the UFC. She's undefeated. Let's see if she can continue her winning streak in Canada and in the UFC. So she's a well-rounded, she's a decent fighter, making a run. We'll see what she can do and see if she can get a win here. The bang out through, so I have Jasmine Jasudavicius minus 205 to plus 170. I don't know if I'd have minus 200. I would have minus 195 right on the verge of that 200, because we have seen Lipski in the past show up just with random takedown defense, like the JJ Aldrich fight. But unless she shows up with that takedown defense again, because she didn't show that against Karine Silva, Jasmine should win this fight. Yeah, Lipski is the better striker, but on the ground, Jasmine all day. Cardio, Jasmine all day. Fucking heart, Jasmine all day. So I'm going Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. I doubt there's a finish in this fight. I guess Jasmine can get a TKO or submission, but I feel like it's very unlikely. I think it's going to be a little close early, but I think Jasmine's going to pull it out late. and get a win. So I just think Jasmine's a better fighter. Striking, she's a lesser fighter, but everything else, cardio, ground game, durability, heart, I think she's better. So give me Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Yes, it's a biased pick, but at the same time, I do think Jasmine wins. So it's biased and my honest pick at the same time. So yeah, not very much else to say. Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. And now, finally, getting to our featured prelim, our 5th fight in the bantamweight division. On the prelims alone, we, again, had to bantamweight for the 5th time tonight for featured prelim. A pretty decent fight between Aiemann, Zahabi, versus Pedro, the young actor, Munhoz. Yeah, this is a good fight. This is a really good prelim main event. Hard to complain about this as a prelim main event. This should be on the main card, but, you know, UFC. But this should be a fun fight at 135 between two old dudes. Let's see what happens. And we'll begin with Aiemann Zahabi. Aiemann in the UFC is 5-2. His 5 wins are whoever the fuck that Vieira dude is. Draco Rodriguez, Ricky Torcios, Orichi Lang, and Javid Basharat. His 2 losses are Ricardo Ramos and Vince Morales. Zahabi, you kind of gotta talk about his career in 2 parts. His first part is his first 3 fights where he went 1-2, and his second part where he's just went on a tear, getting 4 wins in a row. Yes, are they against weak fighters? Draco, ass. Ricky, not good. Orichi, mid. Javid, questionable decision. But, hell, still 4 wins in a row, and if he can win this fight, you can really make a case for him being in the rankings. Fuck, after taking Javid's O on paper, you could already made that case, but now you're really trying to make that case. He's good, man. Zahabi's good. He's not looking like a 36-year-old. His striking's good. His cardio's decent. He has a good ground game. Like, he's a very solid fighter, and we've seen that in his last 4 fights. He has good power in his hands with 2 knockouts. So, he's a really solid fighter. Like, this is definitely a different dude than who we saw in the late 2010s. Like, this guy's came back, not a lot, because he doesn't fight very often, but when he does fight, he's looked good. Outside that, like, Javid was a close fight, but still a nice win. Ricky, that was a bad fight, but Ricky fought like shit, so, yeah. And not very much else to say, though. Zahabi's on a roll right now. The best, fucking looks like he's hitting his prime at 36 at bantamweight is a fucking rarity. So, but he's looking good, man. He's looking really good, and there's not really much else I can add. He's well-rounded. He's doing the best work of his career. Let's see if he can keep it up here. I'm intrigued. A win here, and you can put him in the rankings almost. Take out Dominic Cruz already, but none of that you make sense. So, but yeah, Aiemann, 36 years old, hitting his prime? Question mark. To talk about his opponent, the young actor Pedro Munhoz, prelim Pedro. I don't really have much to say. He's old, he's washed, not like he was that good to begin with. He's prelim Pedro. He's fought everyone, he's mainly lost to them, and yeah, not really much else to say. Like, he's definitely hitting a skid in his career, even though he probably did beat Cheeto, but Cheeto's ass, so what do you expect? Could this be like the Chris Gutierrez fight where he pulls a fucking win out of his ass? Sure. But most likely he doesn't, so. With Pedro Munhoz, he's old, he's not that good, and, the prelim Pedro, the young actor, hopefully gets cut finally. The betting odds for this fight have definitely flipped since, Tapology updated them. I think Zahabi's like the favorite now, like minus 140 or whatever. And I would have Zahabi a favorite. He should win this fight. And I can't believe I'm saying this with this fight, but there's no one else I can pick for this, really. So my lock for tonight is gonna be Aiemann Zahabi. It was him, Jasmine, or fucking like Cody Gibson. And I don't trust I don't trust. I could see Lipski, who has weird performances, and Cody Gibson's untrustworthy. Zahabi should win this fight. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. Munhoz is like on not a great streak. He's 2 years younger than Pedro. He's looking way better than Pedro. He's a good striker. He has good cardio. He might fade late. I could see Munhoz taking round 3. But I think Aiemann can get the first 2 rounds and get another win at home. He's not going to be able to finish Pedro because no one finishes Pedro. I think he's never been finished, yeah. But I could see him I could just see him getting fucking the first 2 rounds and getting a nice win. So, I guess my lock of the night, since I couldn't really find anyone better, anyone more trustworthy, give me Aiemann Zahabi as my lock of the night. Hey, Pedro's old. It's time for him to retire. Or get cut. PFO, take him. Give me Aiemann Zahabi by decision. I think the betting odds, I think they are like minus 140 for Aiemann now, and I think that's correct. I think that's the right way to look at it. So, give me Aiemann Zahabi by decision. I think he's a better fighter in 2024. And a guy who's on a 4-fight winning streak versus a guy who's on a 2-fight skid and overall has lost a lot more fights lately than he's won. Give me Aiemann Zahabi by decision. I'm going to be sweating bullets, especially since it's my lock of the night, but I think he should win. So give me the better fighter, and give me Ariel Helwani, the Canadian, Aiemann Zahabi by decision. My lock of the night. I don't love it, but had to pick someone. Finally done with the prelims. An hour in. I talked for an hour just to give you fucking 8 decisions. I just don't see a lot of finishes on these prelims. Like, they're not finishers, dude. There's just not fucking finishers on these prelims. I wish there was, because trust me, I want to see finishes. I just don't see finishers here. So, I hope I'm wrong on the finish part. I'd love to see some KOs or whatever, but I just don't see it. But I can promise at least 2 on. I can at least promise 2 finishes on the main card, if not more, but mainly just 2. So, enough rambling. Pretty fine prelims. The last 3 fights are good. The first 5 are hit or miss. Now let's get into the main card already. An hour in, as we begin in the welterweight division with a fight I don't really have to say much about because you already know what's going to happen in this fight. It's kind of a predictable fight. As in our main card opener in the welterweight division, we have proper Mike Malott versus Trevin, the problem, Giles. Well, I wonder who the UFC wants to win this fight. The Canadian or the guy who sucks? Let's see. And the Canadian sucks also, but still. We'll begin with proper Mike, proper fraud Malott. Malott in the UFC is 3-1. His 3 wins are... that's funny. His 3 wins are Mickey Gall, Johan Lanus, and Adam Fugit, and his 1 loss was to Neil Magny. What do you want me to say? He beat 3 cans, and then he finally fought a real fighter and got fraud checked. Good job. Yeah, I don't got much to say about Malott. He's not very good, but he can beat cans, and guess who he's fighting in this fight? A can. Perfect. I don't got much to say. He got fraud checked already, and yeah, he failed the Neil Magny test. And if you fail the Neil Magny test, you're not going to do a lot at welterweight. You have to pass the Neil Magny test. We'll see if Carlos Prates can next week, but for Mike Malott, he didn't, and that's never a good sign. He's a fraud. His striking, he has decent power in his hands. He has a fine ground game, but he has no heart, no cardio, and his striking ain't amazing. So, just not very much I can say about Mike. Not much good I could say either. So, yeah. Talking about his opponent, Trevin Giles, he's shit. How he's still in the UFC, I will never know. He is truly fucking terrible. I don't know what you want me to say. His best win is, how the fuck did he beat Grindspan? His best win is Roman Dolidze, so that says a lot. His losses are Zach Cummings, GM3, Dracus, Michael Morales, Gabriel Bonfim, and Carlos Prates. He's literally just been used as cannon fodder in the UFC. He's not good. He's never been good. He is getting older at 32 years old. Damage is really piling up. He's 3 KOs, 3 submissions. Good job. He's terrible. It's that simple. I don't know what else you want me to add. I've said he's shit for years, and I've been right the whole time. Trevin Giles is awful. The betting answers I have Mike Malott minus 270 to plus 220. Sure, he's gonna win this fight. And before you ask, why is he not here in the lock of the night? I don't trust him. I could see Giles pulling off a bullshit win like Neil Magny. So, hell, he took a round off Carlos Prates. That's more than most people could say, so, chill. But I'm gonna go Mike Malott here. He should win, and I'm gonna go Mike Malott by submission in the... I'm gonna go with the second. I think he gets a submission in the second. Striking is probably gonna be pretty even. They're both pretty whatever strikers. Giles might be the better striker, if anything. Malott probably has a power advantage, but that's about it for there. But on the ground, Malott's way better. Fuck, he beat Giles in a grappling match like 2 years ago. So take that for what you will. Excuse me. Give me Mike Malott by submission. He should be able to submit Giles or knock him out in the first 2 rounds before he gasses. And, yeah. This is the one time I hope Trevin Giles wins, because it would be really funny to laugh at Mike Malott again. But most likely, because the UFC is going to get what they want, Malott wins, because this is literally just cannon fodder. And, yeah. Mike Malott by submission in a second. Predictable. Cannon fodder, as I said. After that, we head to our second fight of the main card in the middle weight division. A shit fight between 2 shit fighters as we head into our second fight of the night. Second fight of the main card, my bad. Between Power Bar Marc-André Berriut versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Do you really want me to talk about this fight? Because I don't want to talk about this fight. Let's get out the way. More bad fighters. Yay. We'll begin with Power Bar Berriut. Marc-André Berriut in the UFC is 5-7-1. Do I need to explain more? He's never beat anyone that good. His best one is Julian Marquez. He's mainly lost to decent fight. Well, not really. He usually loses to mid fighters, but lately he's taken a couple decent L's like Fluffy Hernandez and John Young Park. His last 2 L's are to a bum and a fraud. So good job there, dickhead. And he's just not very good. His striking is not great. His ground game's okay. His cardio's okay. He's a fucking terrible fighter. I don't know what you want me to say. He's not good. He's never been good. He'll never be good. So, yeah. I don't know what you want me to say about Marc-André Berriut, a dude who's I've broken down too many of his fights. I've watched way too many. I fucking this job is not easy. Actually, yes it is. But this makes it hard. To talk about his opponent, Dustin Stoltzfus. That was an out of context ayo. I just thought about that. Damn it. Talk about his opponent, Dustin Stoltzfus, 2-5 in the UFC. Somehow they found a fighter shittier than Berriut. Yeah, he's terrible. His 2 wins are Dwight Grant, Puna, Heli Soriano, 2 cans. He's lost to cans like Kyle Dawkins, but his last few was GM3, Boost, Rodolfo, and Bruno. That's fine. So, yeah. He's literally just used as cannon fodder at this point. So, he's terrible. He has no striking. He has no cardio. He has no durability. His ground game's okay. He's a terrible fighter through and through. And that's that. The betting odds for this fight have Berriut minus 205 to plus 170. I don't care. I'd probably have him minus 180. I don't know. Give me Berriut by decision. Terrible fight. I don't give a fuck. Berriut was a consideration for lock of the night, though. He should win this fight. He's the better fighter. If they have a striking match, he should win it. If they go to the ground, he should win it. He has better cardio. He's the bigger fighter. He's the more experienced fighter. He's a hometown fighter. Give me Marc-André Barriault by decision. Won't be shocked if he got a finish, but it's also Marc-André Barriault. He'll somehow look like shit. So, yeah. Marc-André Barriault by decision. No, I don't give a fuck. And finally, for the last of the shitty main card fights, we head to light heavyweight for the worst fight on the card, which says a lot, as we have a can versus can battle. Who's the king of the cans? Who's the CMF, the canniest motherfucker? Someone has to get their first UFC win, and someone has to get cut. As we have Caio, Bigfoot, Machado versus Brendison, the Gorilla, Ribeiro. Bigfoot versus a Gorilla. A lot more interesting than this fight. Yes, Machado's moving down from heavyweight to light heavyweight. Yes, he looks really good. No, he still sucks. I mean, yes, he still sucks. Do I have to talk about this? I'm not even trying to rush this through because the video's going long. You know I don't care about that shit. I just don't care about these fights. Machado in UFC's 0-2. Why he got a contract off the Contender Series, I don't know. His 2 losses are Mick Park and Dontel Mays. One of those is super understandable, the other is not. I'll move down to light heavyweight again, just like Charles Jourdain, just screams that he's desperate. Will it pay off? We'll see. He sucks. I don't care, but I will give him, he did lose a lot of weight, and he does look good at light heavyweight physically. I'll give him that much. Good job. Talk about Brendison Ribeiro. Brunson is 0-2 as well. He got a knockout on Contender Series, so at least it made sense. His 2 losses are Zhang Mingyang and Magomed Shulov. He's terrible. He hits hard. That's about it. He has no cardio, no ground game, no this, no that. He's terrible. That's simple. The Bengals first fight have Caio Machado as the -165 favorite. I would have this a pick'em. They both are terrible. This is a loser gets cut fight. I wish the winner did also. Someone has to get their first UFC win. Who am I going to lean with? Give me Machado. I think he's a little more. I think he has a little more into his game. Ribeiro just hits hard. I think Machado has better striking, better cardio. He looks good at light heavyweight. I don't think this fight's going to hit the ground. Give me Caio Machado by a boring decision. I highly doubt we get a finish here. If we did, Ribeiro probably knocked Machado out cold. What is the height crazy? 6'4", 6. Okay, so he's a short heavyweight anyway. Give me Caio Machado by decision. Again, I don't give a fuck. Terrible fight. Why is this on a UFC card, let alone a main card? Next. Finally, we get back to good fights, as in our 4th fight of the night. We have the main card, my bad. We head back to heavyweight for a good fight. We're gonna get a knockout. Holy shit. And then our 4th fight of the main card in the heavyweight division, we have a fucking banger. And if you see one of these guys on the card, you know you're getting a banger no matter what. As we have Derrick, the Black Beast Lewis versus Johanna Diniz. This is going to be a fun fight and a quick fight. I can't wait. This is going to be fun. I'm not going to go in depth on Derrick Lewis. I'm not going to break down Derrick Lewis. You know Derrick Lewis. He's Derrick Lewis. He's going to hit you hard, or you're going to hit him hard. Pause. And unless he's fighting a grappler, someone's getting knocked out. And what is Johanna Diniz? Not a grappler. So Derrick Lewis has a ginormous chance to win. He got to win his last. He's 1-2 in his last 3, so that's something at least. Yeah, Derrick can still punch really hard. Out he can't do much else, but he can still punch really hard. To talk about Johanna Diniz, the guy maybe a lot of people don't know going into this fight. Diniz in UFC is 2-0, coming out of Contender Series. In his 2 UFC fights, he has knocked out Austin Lane, and he did take Carl Williams' O in the UFC. He's decent. He's a decent fighter. His striking's very good. He has good power in his hands. He's a good striker. He has no ground game, as we saw in the Austin Lane fight where he lost a round to him. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's 33 years old. He has a lot of power in his hands, and he's going to really test Derrick. And Derrick's gonna test him. Like, if we have a dude with no technique outside just winging shots versus a dude who has a technique but can also wing shots. So it's a very interesting contrast. We got the veteran who has had 100 fights versus a young guy who's had 8. So it's an interesting contrast. And again, it's the wild punches versus a more technical striker. Both guys have a lot of power. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out. The betting odds for this fight have Jourdain Denise minus 170 to plus 140. No, there should be a pick'em. If Derrick Lewis is fighting a striker, he will always have a chance, and a good one at that. This should be a pick'em. Derrick can land a shot, or Denise can land a shot. Whoever does it first, we'll have to wait and see. I'm always going to pick Derrick Lewis because it's Derrick Lewis. How do you not pick him? So give me Derrick Lewis by knockout in the first. Someone's going down. It's going to be crazy. Either Derrick takes an O of a fucking young dude, or Denise gets the biggest one of his fucking life. I can't wait. This is going to be awesome. Give me Derrick Lewis by knockout in the first, because I'll always pick the Black Beast. This should be a pick'em. Someone's getting knocked out. Can't fucking wait. Oh fuck. After that, we go to our co-main event of the evening for 5 fucking rounds. A fight I definitely can wait for. I hope I could wait forever to not watch this. As in our co-main event of the evening in the women's flyweight division. Fucking shoot me. We have Thug Rose Namajunas versus Ariane, whatever, cold-blooded Blanchfield. Again, fucking shoot me, please. I don't want to watch this for 25 boring minutes. I have better things to do, like not watch this. I'm not gonna go in depth on this fight. This fight's terrible. We know we're getting with Rose the most boring fights possible. We know we're getting with Earn. No striking ability, only wrestle. Someone's going to win. I'm not looking forward to it. Please, I pray Earn wins this fight, because I fucking can't stand Rose. She's so boring. And you know if Rose wins, she'll probably somehow jump Manon for a title shot, because fuck you. So, give me Ariane Blanchard by decision. Please, for the love of fuck, win this fight. Please. I don't want to see Ariane Blanchard lose to Rose Namajunas. Manon is one thing. Manon's a great fighter. Rose Namajunas, you better fucking not lose to old shitty Rose. Give me Ariane Blanchard by decision. Please tell me you learned how to throw a punch. Please tell me you learned how to set up a takedown. Please, Ariane, please. Give me Ariane Blanchard by decision. If this was 3 rounds, it'd still be shit, but fine. Why 5? Give me Ariane Blanchard by painful decision. And now, time for our main event of the evening. A banger. The only other good fight on this goddamn main card outside Derrick Lewis. We head to flyweight, weight class that only has bangers. It's a fact. We have a banger here, another banger flyweight main event, 2-3 weeks after the last one. As in our main event of UFC Edmonton with no Canadian fighter because they don't have anyone good enough to main event, we head to flyweight for a banger, and a close banger at that, between the assassin baby Brandon Moreno versus the Prince Amir Albazi. Banger, banger, banger. I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be a great fight, and I have no idea who's going to win this fight. I think this fight's a lot closer than people think, and I'm very excited. Fucking banger. Brandon Moreno's back. Amir Albazi's back. Let's get into this. I won't say much on Moreno, because I don't need to break down Brandon Moreno by now. He's everyone's favorite flyweight. 9-5-2 in the UFC. In his last fight, he looked, I would say, washed almost against Brandon Royval. He looked terrible. He looked slow. He looked sloppy, and he got beat. How that was a split, I don't know. But now he's back. He said he's going to take a little break. He did take a little break, and now he's back against Amir Albazi. Yeah, Moreno kind of needs this win. This is almost do or die for Moreno, because he's already getting the washed allegations. If he loses this, it's hard not to call him washed, because you lost to Pantoja, which is not a good, again, so that's an L. And you lost to Royval, a guy you beat, and you looked awful in that fight. Yeah, like, I love Royval, I love Moreno, I like Royval too, but I love Moreno like everyone else, but he did look washed in that Royval fight. I get it, he's only 30, but did he put everything he had into those Figgy fights? It almost seems like it. If he doesn't look like Brand Moreno here, if he looks washed again, then it's hard not to say he put everything he had into those Figueiredo fights. Because when was the last Figueiredo fight? What has he done since? 2 L's. So, I would love to see Moreno get back on track here and win. But can he? Will he? I don't know. To talk about his opponent, Amir Albazi. Amir in the UFC is undefeated at 5-0. His wins are Malcolm Gordon, a Canadian, funny enough. Zulgasu Magulov, Francisco Figueiredo, that's funny also. Alessandro Costa, a really good win. And Kai France. Amir is a weird fighter. I don't know if he's good or not. I can't get a fucking grasp on this dude. I think he's good, but then I see him look super mid against Kai France. It's like, is he good? Like, his wins are not impressive. Costa and Kai are nice wins, but outside of that, you didn't beat anyone that good. And he's like, I can't get a read on this dude if he's good or not. We're gonna find out Saturday, because you can't hide how good you are against Brand Moreno. So, I don't know. I don't know if Albazi, he's a giant question mark. Like, and to be a giant question mark 1 win away from a title shot is impressive. I think he should be getting a title shot. I think he deserves it. I would have booked him in Pantoja for 310, but that would actually make sense. Give it to the guy no one's ever heard of and who's never had a UFC fight. That would sell tickets. Yeah, Albazi seems like a good fighter. His striking ain't terrible. His cardio. His cardio's okay. He has good power in his hands. He has a ground game. But he just does not seem to look that good. At least in the Kai France fight, he did not look amazing. And Kai France is a fine gatekeeper. So to look mid against the gatekeeper of the division, I'm not really sure what to say. Looked better than Ursay did. Shit. But, yeah, it's an interesting fight. It's a very interesting fight for Albazi. It's kind of do or die for him also. So, it's kind of a do or die for both guys. Moreno's getting washed allegations. Albazi's getting fraud allegations. Something has to budge. What will it be? The betting odds have it, minus 155 for Moreno. I'm not shocked Moreno's the favorite. I would have it to pick him, though. Like, I would have it to pick him. I can't really get I don't really see a clear side in this fight. You got the OG, the veteran, who's looked washed in his last fight, who's coming off a bad L, and you got the young dude who's coming off a bad performance and who barely fights. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like, it's hard to trust either one. And we know that, they're pretty well matched on the feet. It's pretty close. I might lean Moreno, but it's close. Power, Albazi. Cardio, Moreno. Ground game, Albazi. It's very well matched. If you honestly ask what I think's gonna happen, I think Albazi might take the early rounds, like the first 2 or 3, and Moreno will take the 4th and 5th. I think it's all gonna come down to the 2nd or the 3rd round, and it's gonna be debated like fuck. So, I don't know. It's definitely gonna go 25 minutes. It's just who's gonna win. I don't know. But since I have to put a pick in, I have a weird feeling. Give me the Prince. Give me Amir Albazi. I think he can win this fight. Moreno looks bad in his last fight. Albazi, if all his health issues are behind him, if he's fucking ready to fucking show up, excuse me, if he's ready to fight consistently and fucking get that title shot, then let's see it. I can see it going either way. And this ain't a fight where the UFC has a favorite. They like both guys. Moreno, everyone knows and loves. Albazi, they would be fine to start building a new guy. It's a win-win for the UFC no matter who wins. So, who's going to win? Again, I don't know. I'll go Albazi. I just have a weird feeling about Albazi, but it's close. And again, I don't really know. But since I have to put a pick in, give me Amir Albazi by decision. Am I that confident? Not really. But I just have a weird feeling. Maybe I'll change my pick if something happens or I get a different feeling. As of right now, I'm gonna go Amir Albazi by decision. Could go either way. I'm excited. Who knows with flyweight. Finally, boom. Or should I say a boo. Halloween. Those are my picks. To go over them one more time. Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision. Cody Gibson by decision. Garrett Armfield by decision. Rodrigo Nascimento by decision. Youssef Zalal by decision. Victor Henry by decision. Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Aiemann Zahabi, my lock of the night, by decision. Malott by submission in second. Marc-André by decision. Kyle Machado by decision. Derrick loose by knockout in the first. Earn Blanchard by decision. And Amir Albazi by decision. Bang. Yes, I know a lot of decisions, but let's be honest. Do you see a finish here? I doubt it. Do you see a finish here? No. I doubt it. No. Maybe. I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. Maybe. I doubt it. No fucking chance. And no fucking chance. So, if I were to pick a finish for every fight, I think a finish could happen. I'd have one here. Maybe here. And here. Like, there's just not a lot of finishes on this card. Malott will get a finish there to someone, and someone's gonna get finished here. Everything else, I don't know. So, like, I know it's another card where I pick mainly decisions, but what do you want me to do? There's not fights sticking out to me as finishes. So, maybe that changes. I've changed my finish prediction a few times lately, and they've been wrong, but still. But as of right now, I just see a lot of decisions on this card. I just don't see finishers like that. So, I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm right, this card's gonna be like 18 hours long. So, yeah. But outside of that, I'm losing my voice. It's Halloween night. I wanna chill and get ready for this card. November has begun, so let's enjoy that. And just like I hope you enjoyed this video. Am I free to say anything? Not really. It's a fine card. It's a Canada card. It's better than the other ones, so at least it's not shit, but it's not very good either. So it's really carried by this fight and this guy, like I said before. So yeah, it's a card. A card I will be recapping on Sunday. Great transition. Yeah, I'll recap it sometime on Sunday, and yeah, hopefully I'm recapping a good card instead of what I usually recap with Canada cards. So, yeah. Not really much else to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs go by the end of the year. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, because if I was, I don't know what it is, because my voice is gone and my mind's gone, because I had to break down 14 fights and only like 3 of them are good. But none the fucking less. As always, unless did I forget a part of my outro? I don't think so. As always, RX. Jesus. Out. Good vibes, only, and always.